Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's Jordan here, bringing you another episode of our Draft to Glory series here with the Saskatoon Bison. Wasn't paying attention, accidentally put us right into the draft here. At least we don't have the first pick, so we can take a look here. In episode number 4, we said we're going to try to draft Liam Pugh, as well as we got a bunch of pins that we're going to be going after here. DeMarchi is one guy we're going to look to add. He's a goaltender. We had a medium elite defenseman there as well. So we've got quite a bit of talent we're going to be looking to add here in episode number 5. And let's see, with the first pick, they take Gervais, and we know nothing about him. And then Maddox Schultz gets taken. Here we are. It's time for the Saskatoon Bison to step up to the podium. With the third pick in the 2028 NHL Draft, the Saskatoon Bison are proud to select from our very own Regina Pats, Liam Pugh. All right, so there we go, guys. We had Liam Pugh to the squad. He's that sniper. Him, McKenna, and Kuznetsov in about 2 or 3 years, they're going to be nasty and hopefully lead our team to the promised land. But you can see here, now we've got pick number 2. I don't want to go looking through our pins. I think we're going to take Curtis. It's between Curtis and Wharton. I mean, Wharton, he's a gem. We are lacking a little bit. Forward-wise here, he's 3 years away. Same thing with Curtis. But defensively, outside of our captain, Siegel, we don't have any real talent. So as much as I would love to get the gem here, we are going to have to take Curtis. He's a righty, DFD. Hopefully, he's going to develop very well for us. And now with the third pick, we have... So this is where we're going to take bits. We're not going to make any mistakes with that. We won't get another pick. So we had 2 very strong defenders in this draft. And now with the 4th pick here, DeMarchi or Delarouve. I think we can get DeMarchi at a later pick. We also might be able to get Delarouve at a later pick. I'm going to go DeMarchi just because we need that goalie prospect. And if we miss out on a forward, that's okay. It won't deplete us. So yeah, there we go. We are able to get the forward. So this has been a great draft. And this is why I wanted to go 2 years with the EA generated scouts. Because with those scouts, you will never develop. You'll never find that. All right, we'll take a look around the draft class here. I didn't think all our pins would already be gone. I'm looking at Moran here, low elite. It looks like he could be. We'll take a look and see. We've got a couple of top 4D lows. I don't really like that. You know what? We got to take some leaps here. We're going to go ahead and get this guy. He's 3 bars low elite. Hopefully, at the very least, he can be like that low elite. If not, like a medium elite, that would be huge for us. We gotta start drafting some forwards, though. I believe we've been very defense heavy so far. We already have our goalie. So forward-wise, we'll take a look. So we know there's not really too many guaranteed potentials. I'm gonna take the sniper here, Earl Hillen, just because hopefully him being a sniper, if we had to play him with McKenna, he can pot some goals. And that's the end of our draft. And I would say that's a great draft. From Delarouve all the way out to Pugh, we know exactly what we were getting, and we got great value for each pick. This is for sure the best draft we've had so far. We've got some AHL coaches that are probably going to be fired, and we'll try to get some coaches that more align with our NHL coach. All right, guys, so looking at the team so far, Siegel, he does not want to come back for some reason. He wants a lot of money, and we have money to give, so we should be able to get him back. Once we take a look at what both our teams look like, I will fill out the rest of these re-signings with players that are necessary for the NHL and AHL, but I'm not going to sign the best ones. I will probably just sign the lower overall guys, so that way our teams are being carried by our players and not guys that we did not draft. All right, here we are, guys, at the start of the regular season. We have the first line here of Gaucher, McKenna, and Chung. Now, Chung, he's a bottom six low potential, but he's a sniper. So I'm hoping that playing McKenna with a two-way forward in Gaucher and a sniper in Chung will still help him get some points, but spread the wealth. Because on the second line, we have Kuznetsov, Lieutenant, and Pugh. I'm hoping that Lieutenant ends up being around 63 to 65 overall. He's a top six forward, low potential, and he was 70 at the re-sign phase, so he should hopefully be a little bit higher. I just got a paper down here. I have everything wrote down. All right, so now looking at the third line here, we have Suter, Cullen, and the newly drafted Hillen. He's just the sniper. We know that from when we drafted him. Hopefully he can help these guys get a little bit more offense. And they have Krog, Delarouve, and Masterlurski on line number 4. Masterlurski is happy to be back in the NHL. Now defensively, we have Koivu with Siegel, Ovechkin, and Mikanov, and then Bits with Koryaluk. Now, there is a little bit of method here behind the line combinations. So if we look in the AHL, Donovan and Amut, those are guys from the expansion draft. But we have Moran, Curtis, Volchenkov, and Henley all playing in the AHL as well. Now, I could call these guys up. They do have some potential. But my thought here is Koivu. He was one of the best defensemen last year. He's a two-way defender. I think he'll play really well alongside Siegel, and it gives that +1 boost. Then Ovechkin and Mikanov here. If I put Bits up here, we get a minus. Same thing if I put Koryaluk. So Koryaluk and Bits on the third pair. Now, I want Bits to be up here. We know he's got that medium elite potential, but the reason he is not in the AHL is because he's already 20 years old. So at 20 years old, remember, he's a late round medium elite, which means his overall is going to be low. So I think just getting him into the NHL right away is what's going to really help for his development. And then the goalies are Devin and Grigori. Guys, I will be brutally honest here, and I wasn't recording this, so I don't have footage of it. I messed up in free agents, or in the re-sign phase, rather, not free agency. I never signed our goalies. So Devin actually signed with the Kraken, and I did have to make a trade to get him back. So I did trade them a player that we did not draft. Trudeau, the defenseman that we had, I traded him, and I gave them also a 4th round pick. It was way more than what I needed to give, but I feel like losing the 4th round pick is the compensation for my mistake. I will make sure in future episodes I don't forget to re-sign the goalies. So yeah, I did bring Devin back. Let me know if you guys think I shouldn't have done that. I can buy out Devin in the next episode. But I think he's the first goalie we drafted. I didn't want to lose him right away. And then, yeah, Grigori is the backup. And then down here in the AHL for goalies, we have Petrov and Emelin. We haven't re-signed any of our other goalies yet. I don't want us to get too close to the goalie limit. So what we're going to do here is you can see, like, Emelin still has 3 years left. Petrov only 1 year left. So once we get some of these guys off the books who we know aren't going to be any good for us, then we can start to sign some of our better prospects. We have no scratches, but this is the first year, guys, that we are playing a team that is complete of players drafted by the Saskatoon Bison. So this is going to be the last year with injuries off. Starting next episode, we'll have injuries on because we'll have players we drafted to go into the lineup in case we do get an injury. And the captaincies are going to stay the same. Siegel, he's our captain. He just got a huge extension. I'll show you guys that. And then McKenna and Gaucher, they're going to stay as the assistant captains. And here you go, guys. You can see here, Siegel signs a $12.5 million extension with an 8-year contract length. He does have that no-move clause. This is going to be one series where the no-move clauses are really going to help us because we can't trade guys anyways. So having that no move clause ability is going to really help us keep the costs down, and that's what happened with Siegel. He wanted about 10 million on a 4-year deal, and he wanted 12 on a 8-year deal, but he didn't want to re-sign with us. So I gave him 12.5, and adding the no move clause is what pushed him over the edge to re-sign. So that's going to be huge with our bigger players. And here we go. Start of the regular season here. 2 losses to get us out of the gates. You know, this is going to be a weird year because we didn't really get too much better, I would say. There you go. First win. Only took 5 games this year. But I don't know if we got that much better. Like, we did add a huge offensive talent in Pew, but he's not there yet, right? He's only probably 79 to like 75 overall. So it's going to be very interesting just to see what steps the team takes. We could have a very similar record to last year. All right, so quickly here, we will just look at player overalls. So Gaucher's that 74. That's what he was at the re-sign phase, so it's unfortunate he didn't grow. McKenna, though, up to an 89. Chung, he was a 62, so now he's up to 65. Kuznetsov grew like crazy. He's up to an 84 overall. You have Luton in there at 72. I think I already said that. Pugh, we know he's a 78, so that is good. Hillen's only a 51, guys. Bottom 6 forward. He's not going to have much time on our team. He'll probably end up in the minors right away. Cullen up to a 64. He was a 62, so slowly but surely, these guys are getting some growth. And Zane, a Sutter, 4 points already this year, but he was a 68. So he grew really nicely. You got Krog, who was a 58. Now he's a 64, so he took a nice jump. And Delarouve and Master Lursky at 50 and 68 overall, respectively. And now Koivu, you can see he's up to a 65, playing good minutes there. Only a -4, so that's not too bad. And Siegel still in an 86. You got Ovechkin up to a 66. Mikanov up to a 71. I believe he was in the 60s, so that's some nice growth. Koryuluk, he was a 69, so he's only up 1. And Bits, surprisingly, already 61 overall. So that's really nice to start us out. And you can see Henley got up to a 59. He was a 55. Volchenkov was a 60. And Moran is actually 69 overall, low elite. So we didn't know for sure that he was going to be a low elite. So that was a really nice steal by us there in the 6th round. He might get a call-up early on. He is higher overall than Bits, but we'll see. Moran's 19, so maybe he spends this whole year in the minors and then gets the call-up. And then our 2nd round pick, Cade Curtis. He's a DFD, and he is a 64 overall. So with that top 4 D potentially, he's got a little ways to go. Goalies, Petrov, 59. Emelin hasn't played enough. Looks like he's still around that 49 overall, though. And Grigori actually jumped up to a 66. I believe he was a 60, and Devin was 63, so he only went up 3 overall as well. So I'm really liking the growth we got from some players. It really feels like we are starting to take that next step. I'm going to stop the sim for December 1st, and we're going to take a look at the stats. We might just stack that first line with Pugh and Kuznetsov if I feel like their stats are not too good the way it is. Just because it might be nice for us to actually just grow those guys instead. I do like the idea of spreading the wealth, but I also need to be realistic here. Lots of the players that have the wealth spread to them right now, they're not here in the long run. You know, unless they have some magical season, they're not going to grow to be NHL players when we're ready to win. But Kuznetsov and Pugh will be. Instead of looking in the edit line screen, we'll just come here. So McKenna leading the way, no surprise. Kuznetsov and Pugh, this is solid. It's not great. So Lutonen with 10 points already, or 9 points. He is benefiting from that second line. And you can see Gaucher and Chung are not really benefiting from playing with McKenna. I mean, maybe they'd have less points, but it's not really helping McKenna. Siegel with only 7 points, so he's been disappointing so far as well. So we are going to go ahead and change things up. We'll take a look at the goalie stats here. solid numbers for what our team is. All right, guys. So I went ahead, switched up the forward lines. So we have Kuznetsov now with McKenna and Pugh, Suter with Lieutenant and Chung. Gaucher's down to this third line because he'll give a -2 on the second line. And like if I do this, I can't get this -2 gone. It just stays or gives more. So I would rather have Gaucher playing on the third line and them only having a -1 and everyone else just being at 0. Suter, he's got 5 points already. I mean, hopefully he can play well with Chung and Lieutenant because I would love for him to grow. Defensively, I am just going to leave it the same because I like having the +1 and I don't want to have any minuses. I don't think it's worth it to change things up defensively. We just have to start drafting better defense. And hopefully in this draft, there's a medium elite defenseman that we can get because that's really the next thing is we need our first round pick to be an 80 overall-ish defenseman that can come in and really help take us to the next step. So it looks like there's only one defenseman high up in this draft. It's Tuzolino. Probably a defensive defenseman or a two-way. We haven't scouted him yet. There's Kennedy up here and Woodworth. If we don't get our hands on Tuzolino, again, it'd be cool. He's actually Norwegian, so countryman of Seagull. But if we don't get our hands on him, we are going to hopefully draft Kennedy or Woodworth, even if they're listed as top 4. Because if they're that high rated, they'll have a better overall. At this point in time, guys, defense is what we need to add the most. We're never really going to get a high overall goalie. We have enough goalie prospects, hopefully, that if we just keep adding one every draft, eventually one of these guys is going to turn into our starting goalie. I'm not too concerned about that. What I am concerned about is if we don't start getting some medium elite defensemen or even just high overall defensemen, we're never going to compete because I find that the lower overall the players are, they don't grow as much as you need them to. So while we do have a couple low elites and medium elite defensemen, when they're 61 overall and 69 overall, they might never grow. They might never reach NHL talent. Whereas if we get a top 4D that's already 78 overall, that guy's already made it. That's guaranteed NHL talent, and we need that now more than ever. But, taking a look at the stats so far, like our win-loss record, I will say we're probably not getting as many wins. And I just quickly wanted to look. You can see Tuzolino is a medium elite. We're going to pin both these guys just so I know to scout them out. Maybe we'll pin Yoshida as well. They haven't been scouted yet. So yeah, hopefully we can get the first overall pick so we can just guarantee ourselves this defenseman. Goalie-wise, there's nobody really standing out. There's actually, if you take a look here, you can see there's not even a goalie registered to go to like the 4th round. So we might not even draft a goalie this year. We might just focus on getting the forward core filled out after we get our defenseman in pick number 1. Because that's the biggest thing. We have 4 defensemen, will be 5 or 6 come next year. So if a defenseman goes down, we definitely have those injury replacements. Right now, I would say we don't have that for forwards. Like we have no extra forwards. So if we can get 4 forwards in the next draft, that would really help us with the injury part. Just want to take a look at the stats here. It looks like these guys are doing a little bit better now, points-wise, that they're all playing together. So we're just going to leave the lines like that for the rest of this year. That's going to be the best way for us to get some growth. And just quickly, in the AHL, you can see we are in a playoff spot. Unfortunately, that's going to become less and less recurrence because as we draft more players, these mid-70 players that we have on the roster are going to phase out. Be at 2-43-5. I mean, last year, I think we had like 8 or 9 wins. So the fact that it doesn't look like we're going to come close to that is a little bit disappointing. You know, we're taking maybe like the 2 steps forward, 1 steps back approach, and the fact that we got lots of growth, but it's a step backwards in terms of record. Because I think we had like 23 or 24 points. So, and we're not even half of that at 11 points. So this is rough. I mean, there's a few 3 goal games in there, 4 goal games. So maybe our star players are starting to become star players. So you can see here in this little stretch, 2 goals, 3 goals, 2 goals, 3 goals, four, only one there, but then four, and then 3 goals plus the shootout winner there. So, you know, the offense is starting to click, even if it's just a little bit. McKenna had 10 points that month, and he's only 3 points behind Leo Carlson, who leads the Anaheim Ducks. So maybe our star players are not as bad as we think. Yeah, you can see dead last, though, in the league. I'm just going to take a look at the draft class with you guys and see if anyone else got scouted out. So, yeah, these 3 defensemen didn't get scouted at all. And just taking a look at defensemen, there's not really any known talent. Okay, this is huge. Because Swanson is NHL ready. And he's listed at 34. If he stays there, we take this guy with this second pick that we'll have. Because we'll have that round 2 pick. So that is going to be huge. So now, guys, I'm going to cut the video here. I'm just going to go ahead, edit the scouting. Just make sure we get all our scouts sent out like we did last year. And then I'll bring it back when we're ready to send the rest of the regular season. All right. The scouts have been sent out, and we are just going to keep on simming here. We're up to 4 wins. I mean, we had 8 last year. I don't know if I see us getting 4 more wins inside of a month, but you never know. Again, at this point, I think it'll be more important that the players are better statistically, at least, than they were last year. The wins and losses don't really matter as much. There's a big win against the Habs. Get a little confidence going. All right, we're not going to look at the draft class since we just sent the scouts out. There we go. Big win there against the Blue Jackets. We still have only got back-to-back wins 1 time. And damn, another win. Okay. This might be the month with the most wins in franchise history. I think 3 would have to be about the most. Not sure if we can end up getting another one, but there's some good offense there. 3 goals and an 8-3 loss. And we got our last 5 games here. Can we pick up one more win? I doubt it. We are going up against some good teams. So you see we lose 2 in a row. Make that 3 in a row. 2 games left. Can we get a win against Ottawa? Because, yeah, there's no way we're going to beat McKinnon and Makar. And bang! Oh my, this is our first shutout. We end the season on a high note with our first shutout in franchise history. That is really nice. And just looking like offensively, the numbers are actually down so far. So let's take a look at the stats here. So McKenna and Kuznetsov, I believe, both have down years. Yeah, 51 points last year for Kuznetsov. I know McKenna's year was down. Damn, Siegel, 87, has 3 X Factors now in Send It, Elite Edges, and Wheels. But again, if we look at his stats, yeah, he had 55 last year. But Kuznetsov, just still an 84 overall. Lutonen, this is a huge year for him. 36 points, career year in goals, assists, points, had 8 power play points, career year in shots, 10 shooting percentage, that's decent. Up to a 73 now. We've got Gaucher had a pretty good year, still a 74. But I believe his potential was AHL, so now it's actually bottom 6, so that could be good. And the rookie, Liam Pugh, didn't get any growth. Only had 33 points. Not the best year. Zane Sutter here had a great sophomore season. Tripled his points. That's what you love to see. And Ovechkin was able to find some offense. Koivu as well. Chung, less goals, I think, than he had last year, but more points. So that's some growth in his game there. And Krog, man. Top 6 forward potential, just not developing. I think next year we're going to have to put him higher up in the lineup. Maybe get him on the power play. Take a look at our goalies here. So 6 wins for Grigori, who was the starter this year. Devin looks to be the backup. And Grigori with the first shutout in franchise history. You love to see that. We'll take a look at his numbers in comparison to the last few years. It's only getting better for him. And I would say Devin is... His numbers are better, but they are just around the same. And again, his sample size is a little bit smaller. The least amount of games he's played. Interesting choice for the coach to make him the backup. I still would have had him as the starter personally, but what can you do? I'm not the one coaching the team. In the AHL, Petrov, a 60 overall now. Emelin, up to a 58. Okay, so that is some really good growth here, and they're getting good numbers. Again, these are going to drop off because as we get more players, we're going to get less of the 70 overall guys, right? Like on defense here, Donovan's 79. He's helping carry the way. Amut's only a 70, so he's not doing too much. But you can see Volchenkov, 39 points. His first year in the AHL, he breaks out offensively. Hopefully he can get up to the 70s this year. Taking a look at Moran, he started at a 69. He's already up to 70. With a low elite potential like that, you could easily see this guy skyrocket to 75. And then Henley, he's still 59. And Curtis, a 66. And our AHL team, they do make the playoffs, so we will sim these games and see. I believe we played Cleveland in the playoffs in last episode. We won the first 2, I think, and then lost 3 in a row. Hopefully we can make it to the second round this year. We got game 5, and we make it to the second round. So we're facing the Comets in a 5-game series. We come away with 2 wins, and we sweep them to make it to round number 3, the Hershey Bears. This is a team with a lot of history in the AHL. They're going to be a good team. We're down 2-1, and they beat us in 5 games. But honestly, with the goaltending the way it is, I can't believe we're even making the playoffs. So that's really good for all of those defensemen in our system to get some really nice growth there. I'm just seeing here, Tamula is actually 82 overall. I didn't know this, guys. I thought his overall was in the low 70s. So we'll be moving on from him this year. Maybe he's part of the reason why we're doing so good. That's my mistake. I should pay more attention to the players I'm signing. It's just tough with Fog of War. You don't always get to see what everybody's overalls are. But just taking a look here to see if any of our guys. So Henley's up to a 60 from the playoffs. Nobody else got any growth, but that is nice that see at least one player took advantage of that being in the playoffs. And we have a lot of work to do this offseason. I mean, obviously, the standard stuff, we have the draft. But, you know, it's just going to be a lot of work in terms of building this roster now and constructing the lines in a way that start leading to some better results. I mean, I'd be delusional to think that just one more top 4 pick is going to vault us into the playoffs. But I would like to see us get closer and closer to not guaranteeing that top 4 pick, if that makes sense. Like, McKenna could be 26 before we even really compete. We might lose him. And there you go, guys. We get boned the 3rd year in a row. EA says, we gave you McKenna. You're not getting anything else. So we're going to have to take a look here at the players and kind of see who we want to draft. Hopefully our scouts did us some solid work. Hopefully these defensemen are known. They are not, guys. This is scary. I did send the scouts out to them. So at least with Woodworth, We know that he's NHL ready. We just don't know the potential. And Kennedy, we know nothing. Yoshida, he's not NHL ready, so we'll probably pass on him. We got Drummond here. He's NHL ready. He already has a X Factor as well, so we'll go ahead and pin him. We can take those guys off. We're not going to draft them if we can't even see them. We'll take a look here. You got Heaton, who's probably a sniper. Oh, no, he's a power forward, but he's got that release. Timu Solani comparison. Again, we just have to get a defenseman with this first pick. Personally, I think. But we'll take a look down here. There was that defenseman, Swanson. So it does look like Swanson will drop. He's not going to be NHL ready, but he's going to be higher overall than most. Probably in the high 60s to low 70s. We could go with another elite forward. That would give us 2 lines. Oh, I'm going to keep that in the video, but I'm just seeing here. Tazino's actually dropped to 3rd. So our scouts have him as 2nd. Central Scouting has him at 3rd. We could get lucky. So this is going to be really the first draft where we don't really get to know who we're picking going into it. We're going to have to figure out. Klemchuk, he's a 2-way forward that plays like Patrick Kane. That's interesting. I will pass on that. I'll tell you right now. If he drops instead of Tazolino, I'm not going to draft him. Let's see here. Bailey, he's 6'1". He's a playmaker. I like him being a playmaker a little bit better than the 2-way forward. Also, Kuznetsov. I don't know if we want another one. Could be his brother. He is from Russia. So maybe we have to draft Kuznetsov brother if we don't get Tazolino. Because I'm just thinking, I know we need defensemen. And Woodworth would be the guy to draft. Just, I'm only thinking that if we can get Swanson, who appears to be... Oh. So Swanson... So who was the guy we looked at that wasn't NHL ready? Was it Wells? Okay. So Swanson's 100% NHL ready. So... I'm trying to just think who this... Okay. I don't know what's going on here, guys. This game is so buggy. But Swanson's NHL ready. We can guaranteed get him in the 2nd round, I think. So this is going to be a good draft defensively. Here's the plan. All right, guys. Here's what I'm thinking for a plan in this draft. Let me know your thoughts down below because you will see this video and have a couple days to get your comments in before I record the next one. So, Tazolino, he's our guy. We want him 100%. But if we don't get him, I'm thinking it's between Bailey or Kuznetsov. We get the center playmaker, and that allows us to split up our trio and go 2 of our studs with a bum. And same thing. Or we go Kuznetsov. The same thing. Allows us to split up some guys. So let me know if we don't get Tazolino, would you want to see us draft Shannon Bailey or bring in Kuznetsov's brother? Because then, I'll tell you right now, it's no secret. If Swanson drops to the 2nd round, we'll draft him no matter what. I won't even think about it for more than half a second. He's already NHL ready. Even if we get Tazolino, I will draft him because that will give us 2 NHL quality defensemen. Goalies, we didn't really get any scouted. We have the starter. If he's still available at our pick, or maybe even this guy should be available with our 7th round pick, we'll take one of them. We have to keep in mind, guys, we do not have a 4th round pick. We lost our 4th round pick to the Kraken for the screw up with Devin, which I only think is fair. And I'm just taking a look here through defensemen. We know this guy's a gem. If he's available with our 3rd pick, we will take him. And that would be 3 defensemen After that, we would probably just be looking to add some forwards. We'll sort quickly by potential. You can see there's nobody that stands out, at least in terms of having a higher potential than where they should be drafted. We'll take a look at the forwards and see. We've got this gem. We will probably draft him if we can. Hopefully there's some top 6 forwards we can add. We've got this low elite guy in Bykov. Looks like he'd be there with our 3rd pick, hopefully. We do want to start getting some better NHL talent. And just, again, we need forwards so we can turn the injuries on for the next episode. And it looks like we've got some options here. I mean, it's just crappy that all these guys are right around the same spot. We might not be able to draft them all, but at least we have some options. Let me know, guys, what do you think about my draft strategy for the next episode? What would you do different if you were me? You can see there, Austin Matthews is in Vegas now. That is crazy. Sorry to interrupt the exit, but he jumped ship. He said, Mitch, bring me with you guys. Wow. That's insane. We saw Carolina won the cup, but Vegas must have been in the final round. That is awesome. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on the series so far. Let me know your thoughts on my draft strategy for next episode. Let me know what you guys want to see us draft. I appreciate the love and support so far, guys. It's been incredible. I'm really loving NHL 26. I'm loving the YouTube grind, and I'm going to keep pumping out content to you guys as much as I can. Thank you so much for watching YouTube. Hope you guys have a great day. Make sure to like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.